Hi, everybody. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science. Welcome to our Louise Hay class. I see all of you signing in on Zoom right now, so I'm going to give everyone a moment or two. Again, this is First Church of Religious Science. Welcome to those of you in our studio audience, and welcome to everyone signing in now. Special shout out to the people who are watching us this week on Facebook and also on our 24-hour YouTube channel. So it's great you're all with us. It's wonderful to see this community grow. We're loving all the feedback. We're getting all your messages. We're doing our best to keep up with them. There's a lot, but we appreciate everything we hear. All of our classes are offered gatherings on a love offering basis, which means they're free of charge, so there's no reason not to attend. Invite your friends. There are some of you who are supporting us financially, and if you would like to be one of those, in the chat box, you'll always see options that are posted for credit cards, and some people send in checks to the center. So if you'd like to do that, we're very happy to receive your support. It allows us to do the work we do. So again, a special welcome to any of you signing in now. This is our self-healing class. This is our Louise Hay class. A little bit about Louise Hay. Louise Hay, of course, wrote the book You Can Heal Your Life. It was an international bestseller in many, many languages. Just one of the biggest selling books of its time on the subject of New Thought and the law of attraction and healing. And we happen to have a little bit of boasting rights because she got her education here at our very church here in New York City. So it's our pleasure to continue her work here, and we'll talk more about her another time. I have a little poem for you this evening to start us off. It's entitled One Day, One Thought. And here we go. In the quiet rooms of mind and heart, where shadows linger, doubts take part, there lies a space, small yet so bright, a beacon of love and inner light. One day at a time, we open a door to rooms unvisited, to clean the floor. With each sweep and wipe, out goes the fear. In their place, hope whispers, I am here. One thought at a time, let kindness bloom. In corners dark, glooms consume. Like sunlight piercing through the gloom, let love's gentle touch become the broom. All is well in this sacred place, where self-love heals at its own pace. In the mind of God, all is healed. In our own, the truth is revealed. In this spiritual work, we find our might, turning inner turmoil into light. It's worth the effort, it's worth the fight, to awaken each day with spirits bright. For every anger, every doubt that stirs is a lesson as life occurs. In the house of the soul, where love endures, we find our peace, and the world is yours. It's truly wonderful to see you all here again. Again, one thing I can say for sure, having stayed with this material now for I don't know how many years, is the people who stay connected with the work, and the people who do the work will have incredible manifestations. They'll learn to heal their life. I've been watching people for years myself. People come and go, and when they come back, the ones that come back will say, oh, I really wish I had stayed because I was doing so well. We have a lot of inner stuff, most of us inside of us, and the more you can say plugged in, to what we do, and it doesn't have to just be us, but we just happen to meet 3 times a week, and we're good at this. But wherever you do it and however you do it, just starting to live in connection is what we really ultimately want, which means we live in what we'll call God awareness of spirit within. That's the goal, is to have that inner realization and to live from that place. It's not easy for everyone to do. It takes time and effort. If you talk about spiritual mind treatment, Ernest Holmes would say it's the time, the art, the method of ridding that negativity, that negation from you. So no one expects any of us are going to do that tonight or overnight. But we set a course. We set an intention. Starting here, starting now. These classes, these gatherings, again, they're free of charge, and there's 3 of them a week. And beyond that, you can listen to them again and again. If you're having a tough day or a tough evening, you can always go to YouTube or go to Facebook, and you can listen to any one of hundreds at this point of these lessons. And so they're really great that way. So however you found us, welcome. I'm glad you found us. For those of you joining us for the first time, I'll share a little bit more about our journey. Louise has been a monumental inspiration in my life. I began facilitating groups and classes weekly when the book first came out. And I started incorporating her life-changing philosophy into various schools, one school system. I brought the book in. I was bringing it to different schools for a year. I presented this material in different churches and treatment centers. And I've watched and I've seen, I hate to use miraculous, but it's really been nothing it's been nothing short of that. I've seen transformations. I've seen things, people heal that you would never expect to heal as people embraced her ideas. Our journey with Louise Hay, as I mentioned before, began right here at this church, our church, First Church in New York City. This is where she studied under our first minister, Raymond Charles Barker, and then Stuart Grayson. So the classes that we teach and the gatherings we have today are a continuation of all that great work, that rich legacy from these wonderfully talented people who were the inspiration for Louise herself. Through her influence, though, I got more deeply involved in the teaching and eventually found myself here in New York City at the very church where it all started. So who would have ever known or thought? I never had a plan, but here we are all together. So we're not just teaching lessons. We're here carrying on Louise's legacy. We're sharing healing principles, powerful ideas about this life force, this energy that's with you always and that you can engage with to heal and transform your life. Louise provided invaluable guidance on how to harness your inner power. Let's explore some fresh ideas in one of Louise Hay's famous meditations. So let's take this little guided process. I invite you to relax, perhaps close your eyes or just take a moment, take in a few breaths. Let's immerse ourselves for a few minutes of tranquility. I'd like you to imagine a space within you where there's an infinite intelligence, an infinite well of love and peace. As you breathe in, feel that love coming into your body. Exhale, feel it in your entire body. Feel this love radiating out from you, in and out, and as it returns amplified. You might say to yourself words from Louise: the more love I use, the more I have to use. The supply is endless. Remind yourself, I love myself the way I am. I lovingly take care of my body. I feed it carefully with healthy foods. I groom myself with care. I know that there's a divine pattern of health, healing in my life, in my body, responding to me. I feel this energy healing. I know it's there. And declare I live in a comfortable place, a loving place, a place that radiates warmth and nourishment for myself and anyone who enters. As I think of my work and my activities, wherever I engage myself, I sense and I know that I'm an integral part of what is happening, and I do what brings me joy and fulfillment. I'm surrounded by people who appreciate me and support me. Now you might say to yourself also, I know that I'm creating a life filled with love, abundance, and harmony. I'm grateful for this teaching, this new thought philosophy, this philosophy that allows us to be our authentic selves, allows us to shed layers of expectations. Tonight, we want to imagine ourselves stepping bravely into a life of self-love and self-acceptance. We accept all these beautiful ideas as true, and we release ideas of lack, limitation, illness, disease, for we know that we are supplied and supported in every way. And so let's bring ourselves back into our gathering, feeling a little bit refreshed and renewed. I recall working with some of these self-healing ideas many years ago. I'd hate to tell you how many years ago. It was a long time ago. It's right after the book, You Can Heal Your Life, came out. And a beautiful lady came into that group. She was stunningly beautiful, and we all looked at her like, she's like a runway model or something. And we were doing mirror exercises that particular week in the Louise class, where we were passing around the mirror. And we were all there with different issues, right? But we're still working with the same mirror, and it was the same affirmation: I love, accept, and approve of you. Or it might have been, I love, accept, and approve of you exactly as I am. And we had been doing it for a while, and some of us had made progress. And I remember this lady very well, just because of the contrast. She was just, whoever your favorite model would be, think of her holding the mirror. And yet, in this case, the lady couldn't do it. She really had a tough time. Tears started streaming down her face. And over time, because she stayed with the group, she was able to hold the mirror up to her face and say that, I'm beginning to like you. But it was a learning for all of us, because it highlighted that external appearances don't always mirror our internal feelings. And it really shows us that we probably be a good idea not to judge people, because we truly don't know what other people are going through. We might think that they have this, they have that, and all the other things that we do with our opinions, but we'd be better off minding our own affairs. Our founding pastor, Raymond Charles Barker, here at First Church, emphasized the importance of us to grow towards authenticity, to become who you really are. And of course, in modern times, we've used different language. We ask you to figure out who you have come here to be. And that's a novel thing for many of us. When we were younger, we thought our job was to follow our parents' advice and do what they say, and go where they thought we should go. And many of us didn't think that we had all kinds of choices, and we weren't taught that we're here to have become self-realized or any of that at the time. But our pastor, Barker, was talking often about us being the whole bit, and we're here to be authentic, and we're here to shine, and we're here to, really to become something. And Barker was always saying that you're an individualization of God. You are the thing that you've been looking for. So you can go right in front of your mirror and say, I am it, because you are. And what we do in New Thought is we awaken to the truth of who we are. We awaken to you're the whole bit, So you come into this world whole and complete. You're an individualization of spirit. You have everything you could ever need. And you get socialized by people, and you learn to adapt. You learn to adapt to what your parents want of you, or your grandparents, or whoever raised you. And as we do, we lose bits and pieces of that authentic child that we were in the process. And that's neither good nor bad. It's just the way it works. And the thing, though, is you wake up as an adult, you still might be living other people's ideas of what other people's dreams. Like you might have had a grandmother or a father who wanted you to become a pianist or a sports figure or something. And maybe it's just not your dream. Maybe you're doing things even now that, you're thinking, why am I doing this? Life is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. And it's smart of us to spend some time thinking about the things that bring us joy, happiness, contentment. Journal writing and doing vision work all can be very important for us to just to let Spirit feed us and inform us of these bigger ideas that oftentimes are just beneath the surface. Our whole focus here is on learning to love ourselves and up the conversation, never criticizing ourselves. So if you stay with us long enough, you're going to discover more and more who you've come here to be, and you're going to move closer and closer to your dreams, and you will, in fact, in the end, you're going to become more authentic. What people think of you won't matter so much, as I will say again in this talk, because Spirit is inside you. It's wooing you always, moving you towards your goals. We came to Earth as spiritual beings. We're born into a body, but we came here, and you're here to learn, and you're here to grow. And part of the way back home is loving yourself, being undisturbed by what's going on around you. As you get involved in this teaching, you're involved in a metaphysical New Thought teaching, and you will come to know that all is well, as Louise Hay said, that every encounter is in fact a holy encounter, and you will calm down as you learn to meditate, as you learn to do your affirmative prayers, you do affirmations, you're going to build up your consciousness. And Spirit is always there. It will lead the way if you allow it, if you quiet down. You've heard us say before, be still, be still and know that you're connected to that Spirit. Be still and know that you are one with the One. I find it difficult to quiet Spirit down because when I'm off, I promise you, I know it's like instant karma. And no external God needs to punish anybody. Because when we're messing up, we know that we're messing up. We punish ourselves. And then we remember. And Louise Hay would say in one of her writings and songs, remembering and forgetting. It's the game that we play. It's the story of the prodigal child who's lost his way, but he's the heir to everything. Eventually he wakes up and he turns to the story that he turns to the father comes rushing to him. It's a parable which should, excuse me for the word should, it's a parable that can lead you towards self-discovery, because what we all do. Each of us are born in this energy, in this kingdom. It's at hand. It's right here in you, through you, operating around you, responding to you, yet we forget about it. And so we want to stay awake more often. Tuning into our classes as often as you can is really helpful. We meet 3 times a week, and everything we do is offered on YouTube and Facebook, so you can be reminded around the clock if you want to be. It's important because we have a lot of negativity in our consciousness. Even those of us who have been working on ourselves for quite a while, that stuff is still there. We've maybe cleared a lot of it away, but it still creeps in. Louise Hay encouraged us to be mindful of our language, our thoughts or things, and our words, especially when we're talking and using the word should and all of its synonyms. She said it will indicate patterns of rigidity in our thinking. You've heard me comment before. In the book, she said you might notice if you're using the word 40 times a day or something like that, she said it might indicate a pattern of rigidity within you. And I thought that was pretty funny when I first read it. And it helped me become more mindful, because no one really wants to be told what they should do. Usually it's condemning when the word is used for the most part, or it's saying not good enough. And Louise would say, you've been saying not good enough all your life, or you've been condemning yourself. And how's that been working out for you? And if we're not condemning ourselves and we're judging other people, and those are things that most of us who are on this call are we're working hard to release the need for all of that. I realize many people have interacted with me this way, and they do it with the best of intentions. And as I think back, and I was preparing the lesson, as I think of some of these folks that immediately come to mind, they were coming from a place of fear, usually, sometimes control. So as I think back on it, it's clear that these individuals, be they relatives or friends, they weren't acting or coming from a place of trusting life. It was usually fear of something that would happen or happen to me or them or whatever. The language we use today, connection. If you're coming from connection, which means that you know you're connected with Source, you're one with God, one with this creative intelligence, then you're probably not going to be so inclined to tell anybody what to do, because you're living in connection. You're going to trust that all is well. You're going to trust in the process of life, and that people are going to know what to do, because whatever it is that's guiding you is in everyone else as well. Louise Hay would say that these folks are disconnected from themselves. How could they possibly impart messages of self-love and acceptance to others? So if you grew up in a family where there's a lot of havoc going on, where people weren't connected, they were doing the best they could, but how could they extend messages of self-love and nurturing you to be your best, and all of that, when they themselves didn't have that? It's a simple truth. You've heard it before. People who are hurt or broken can only give you what they have, which often stems from their own feelings or of not being okay or being inadequate. Hurt people hurt people. It's not that hurt people plan to hurt people. It's just, if you're coming from a broken place, you might desire to help others, but you will have a problem doing so because you yourself are coming from a place of separation, as we say. There's a lot of people who are hurting. There's a lot of hurt people who themselves are in pain, and they try to help other people, and that's very noble. But they get dejected and rejected because they don't love themselves. And even in their attempts to help other people, oftentimes they are off-putting. There's a lady I remember very well. I'll call her Carol, changing her name. I knew her for years, and she was forever trying to help people. But she was always telling them what they should do, and she was always critical of them. And she was furious when they didn't follow her advice. So that, you just think of it that way. You might have a lot of good ideas about how people ought to be. But what we do in this teaching is we focus on ourselves. So the whole thing with Louise Hay is, learning to love ourselves, love, accept, and approve of ourselves. As I was preparing this lesson, I remember as a therapist and also being involved in 12-step programs, I've been around a lot of people who really, they want to help people, and it's really noble that they want to do this. But sometimes it's really, you notice that these folks burn out pretty quickly because in their desire for other people to get better, they start to realize people don't behave. They don't get better on your time frame. You really have to come to accept that. The thing, from a New Thought perspective, that's always important for us to realize is people are in the right place at the right time. And there's wisdom from the 12-step programs. One passage is, let the hand of that program be there when someone reaches out for help. See, it's altogether different when someone is asking you for help, and you're able to legitimately meet them and help them. But it's really a mistake to have expectations for people to change because you're giving them advice. When you come into religious science, the counselors, the practitioners like Judith and Jimmy, one of the first things you learn is you don't give advice. It's okay for us to do affirmative prayer, but not to give advice. Louise Hay noted something profound about consciousness. She says it doesn't attract what we want if we're steeped in criticism and negativity ourselves. So what we're always doing here is we're working with consciousness. Our consciousness, really ideally what we're working towards, is to be unified, one with the one, connected with Source. As you love yourself, you're going to naturally attract the best to you. So she was saying, our consciousness, if we're steeped in criticism and negativity, it's not going to be attractive. So these folks who are doing their best with what they know often end up repelling others. And I was recalling that lady who was, my God, she tried to help everybody, but she was so completely disturbed when they didn't do what she wanted them to do. So if you're one of these folks who are using all these phrases like should and got to, must, and have to, and all of that, it's no surprise. Louise would say, after all, who wants to be around someone who's constantly pointing out what's wrong? More importantly, if we scold ourselves believing we're not good enough, we're just inviting more misery in ourselves. So her suggestion is very simple. I told you all that information for a reason. If you're doing any of that stuff anywhere towards other people or towards yourself, stop. I've said this for many years. Stop in the name of love. I've invoked Diana Ross, everybody else. Wherever you find yourself being critical, stop. Remember that you're living now. As you come in this teaching, you're coming to understand you're living in a perfect world, a world that's perfectly unfolding. So there is this spirit in you and you're in the divine right place and you're learning lessons, and so is everybody else. So never, never, never criticize yourself for being where you are, and release the need to be critical of other people. I know that requires work. I have to stop myself all the time too. But we understand that there's one life, one energy, one intelligence, and that intelligence is in every one of us. And we know the world is unfolding in divine order. So please don't get yourself all bent out of shape when people don't behave. Raymond Charles Barker did a famous talk on how to change people. Of course, everybody went in and found out from that talk that you can't. So stop trying to change other people and stop giving unsolicited advice to the best you can. Stop using the word should. In this teaching, learn with me as I continue to learn that we do our work in consciousness. As you get your consciousness right, meaning you're loving and you're giving and you're forgiving, and you love yourself the way you are, it becomes much easier to accept people as you find them. So we do our work in mind, we do our work in consciousness, we're working on ourselves. When we really get it together internally with ourselves, I promise you everything begins to mirror that in your outer world. Charity definitely begins at home, and there's always much to do. Whenever I do a version of this talk, I always think of our practitioner, Agatha. And Agatha is a senior lady, and whenever I talk to her, how are you? And she'll say, wonderful, just like you. And I'll ask her what she's doing. And she tells me how busy she is. She's working on herself. And I don't need to mention her age. But the thing is, she's got the right answer. She's working on herself. And that's what we're committed to doing, is you love, accept, and approve of yourself, work on yourself. Your life changes for the better, and you will help people in ways you can't even comprehend. So the more you stay connected, things will start to change, and they will change quickly if you start focusing on the most important person in the world, which is yourself. You will turn the world around as you turn your thinking around. Yesterday ended last night, and today is a new opportunity to embrace truth and positivity. Affirmations are so powerful. Use them, build your consciousness up with affirmations. I love, accept, and approve of myself is a great one to keep saying. This is God in my life. Whatever is going on, you realize, okay, you're in the perfect place, perfect time. I am supplied and supported. Choose affirmations that really resonate with you. They don't have to be my words or our words, because this power, this life, it's in you, operating through you. What you want to do is you want to stir it up, and you want to connect with that power. When you're doing affirmative prayer, the first step of affirmative prayer is to recognize that there is this one power. Step number 2 is it's in you. So you're recognizing there is this energy, this power. And step 2 is you're realizing that it's in you. And so then you're going to go into declaring parts, you're going to declare health, wholeness, abundance. You're going to declare peace. So begin with your affirmations, declare and build up that consciousness in you. And as you start to believe this, believe your own affirmations, you will start to see demonstrations. Affirmations, again, are powerful, or they can be. They're going to be just as powerful as you are passionate. If you're connected and you realize that there's one power, one energy, and that power is in you, and you start to make affirmations like, I am lovable, I'm loving, I'm lovable, and I'm good, and I'm valuable. When you connect with them, you're creating avenues in mind, and you're going to start to see demonstrations. So when do you use them? Use them all the time. Use them in particular when you catch yourself making a negative statement, or when you find yourself going towards, self-criticism or criticism of others, or negative thinking, stinking thinking, find a way to stop yourself. Stop, say next. Do whatever you need to do. I've heard various people with various techniques stopping themselves mid-sentence when you see that you're involved in any type of this negative thinking. This shift in thinking isn't just about stopping the thought or the habit. It's about replacing it dynamically with something else. So here's a few. I wrote down 5 for you. Here's one. You might say to yourself, after you stop whatever it is, I am worthy of love and joy. I release the need for whatever it was. Number 2, my potential to succeed is infinite. So if you're thinking, for example, that you're not going to make it, or you just have self-doubt regarding your success, your affirmation, or a suggested affirmation is, my potential to succeed is infinite. And if you're troubled by your past in any way, or you're giving yourself some self-talk, you're lamenting something you've done, an affirmation is, I am at peace now with my past, and I'm excited for my future. I'm at peace now with my past, and I'm excited for my future. And if you've been negative and you've just been doing a number on yourself, stop yourself. Tell yourself, I release the need to think this way. And always learn what you need to learn. I'm not suggesting you bypass that. But stop it. Neutralize the thinking, the stinking thinking. And then you can say to this one, I'm at peace with my past, and I'm excited for my future. And we move into the next one. I choose to fill my life with positivity and gratitude. Always we teach here, gratitude is causative. So if you can keep on thinking about gratitude, the things you're grateful for, the people you're grateful for, and you start to see the good. And if you keep on seeing the good, then you're actually practicing the teaching, because that's what we're trained to do, is keep seeing the good. I have one more for you. if you're doubting yourself and you're just having those days, one of those days where you're filled with some type of doubt, calm yourself, center yourself. After you've said no to this and you've released the need for that experience, you might say to yourself, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. And, it's just keeping on, canceling the negative, stopping mid-sentence. Our textbook definition of treatment is it's the time, it's the art, it's the method of ridding this negativity from within you. We really do our work in mind. We do our work with ourselves. We really are not out there trying to change other people. We know that as we change ourselves, the outer world will take care of itself. When we really, really love ourselves, everything begins to work. I have one more affirmation. No matter what you've been through, you tell yourself you're loving and lovable, and then here's the affirmation. I'm a magnet for good experiences and positive people. Now we're ready to turn over the call to you. We want to hear from you. Before we do, I'm going to say a treatment for us. So let's center ourselves, knowing that today I acknowledge the immense power that resides within me, the power to transform my life through positive thoughts and affirmations. I recognize that my words and thoughts are not just fleeting echoes, but powerful forces that shape my reality. I release all negative thoughts and beliefs that have held me back. I let go of doubts, fears, and uncertainties, and I embrace a mentality of abundance, hope, and positivity. I understand that by changing and releasing changing my inner dialogue, I'm changing the course of my life. I'm grateful for the power of my own words. With each breath, I inhale confidence and exhale hesitation, and I affirm that my mind is fertile ground for positive, life-affirming thoughts. I'm planting seeds right now of optimism, courage, strength, knowing that they grow and flourish. I declare that life responds to me, to my affirmative thinking. Each positive thought is a step toward a brighter, more prosperous future. I am the author of my own experience. I'm surrounded by the universe's abundant love and grace. I'm an inlet and outlet of it. It guides and supports me. I trust that every thought is rooted in positivity. Every thought that I have that's rooted in positivity returns me and bears fruit. It returns to me a life filled with joy, peace, and fulfillment. And so now we turn it over to you. We want to see what it's been like being you this week and what your demonstrations have been. I'm thankful that you're all here this evening, and I'm looking forward to hearing from everyone. And so it is. So we'll see you in just a moment. Thank you.